have no idea, but I'm willing to see what's behind door number 3. I'm willing to make a change for change's sake. Because what I've gotten over the last 4 games with Dillon Gabriel is a guy that I have serious questions about whether or not he's an NFL quarterback. Seriously.
So what does Kevin Stefanski want out of this?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out whether or not Kevin Stefanski wants to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Because to continue to stay the course with Dillon Gabriel based on the body of work that we've gotten just doesn't make any sense to me. It's nonsensical. Dillon Gabriel is absolutely awful.
Picture this. ESPN turns into a full-on roast session, and Canty walks in like he's about to drop a verbal nuke. He didn't just criticize Kevin Stefanski, he obliterated him. The man swung so hard it felt like Stefanski was a coach-shaped piñata stuffed with bad play calls, missed opportunities, and pure stubbornness. All this chaos because Stefanski keeps throwing shade at Shedeur Sanders like it's his side hustle. Now the whole NFL's tuned in like they're watching the next episode of Keeping Up with the Browns. Cleveland just can't escape the storm. Every time they hit what looks like rock bottom, they pull out a shovel and start building a basement. This week, Canty stormed onto ESPN like he was hosting an intervention, except there were no hugs or sympathy, just straight fire and a flamethrower of truth. He came prepared too. Every bad decision lined up like a highlight reel of regret.
Seems like every day, every morning, every afternoon, every evening, there's something new to talk about. But this morning, on Unsportsmanlike, Get Up with Canty, Canty has some things to say about Kevin Stefanski, because basically Canty has walked it back and has caught Kevin Stefanski in a red-handed lie. And he exposed him on national television for the lies that he was saying about Shedeur Sanders and the quarterback.
And when Canty started speaking, it wasn't analysis, it was an exorcism. He tore through that segment like he was cleansing the Browns of bad football spirits. He looked at Cleveland's quarterback mess and said, "This ain't football. This is a sitcom gone wrong with shoulder pads." One side of the locker room's broken, the other's baffled, and somehow Stefanski's just in the corner, pretending it's fine, sipping Gatorade like it's calming tea at a yoga retreat. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel's out there tossing the ball like it's got helium in it, each throw floating like it's sightseeing before crashing back to earth. And poor Shedeur Sanders sitting on that bench like a statue carved from frustration and wasted talent. The crowd's chanting for change, analysts are yelling through their mics, and Stefanski's big answer? Focus! Seriously? That's not coaching, that's denial with a headset. Canty couldn't take it anymore. He snapped right there on live TV. You could literally see the moment his patience just vanished into thin air. 1 second he's calm and composed, the next he's going nuclear on Kevin Stefanski like a man possessed. The whole ESPN studio froze, dead silent, like they just witnessed a live execution of Cleveland's playbook. Even the cameramen looked terrified to zoom in, probably afraid of catching the blast radius from that verbal explosion. And honestly, who could blame him? The Browns' quarterback strategy makes less sense than a puzzle written in another language.
You got the optics of your best player slamming his helmet on the sideline after Gabriel goes out there and throws 2 brutal interceptions in the second half of that game that effectively seal your fate. At some point, something has to change. And it boggles my mind that Kevin Stefanski is adamant about sticking with Dillon Gabriel after the bye week, after we've seen the quarterback throughout the course of his first 4 starts rank dead last in yards per pass attempt, yards per drop back, air yards per attempt, and have the second worst QBR during that span. The guy can't throw the ball down.
Think about it. Cleveland's got a starter who treats touchdowns like they're optional, a backup who can't buy a snap, and a head coach guarding the depth chart like it's a national secret. It's like Stefanski's producing a twisted reality show called The Bachelor Quarterback Edition. And once again, Shedeur Sanders didn't get the rose. Canty came loaded with pure fury and cold, hard facts. He wasn't ranting, he was purging. That man brought "I'm done pretending this is normal" energy to national television, and it was glorious. He called out every inconsistency, every awkward rotation, and that Cleveland curse of sabotaging themselves right when things start looking good. The rest of the panel just sat there frozen like mannequins because deep down they knew he was right. This wasn't commentary anymore. It was a public therapy session for every fan who's watched the Browns turn potential into pain and hope into highlight reel disasters. Let's be real. Stefanski's pressers sound like motivational speeches written by a malfunctioning GPS. Reporters ask about Shedeur.
Shot. This is it. I mean, I don't mean just this one game, but I'm saying this is his chance. Even though it looks like he's been practicing well, what we talked earlier, like it just seems like they don't want to give him the shot to really move up. Well, they have to now. And I salute them for not. I think to start Tyler Huntley in this game would have just been like, yeah, it would have either been insulting or he is just light years away from being ready to play in an NFL game. And so I'm glad he's getting a start. I said earlier, maybe he plays a half, Huntley plays. If he's playing well, he's going to play 3 quarters.
And he dodges harder than a goalie in panic mode. That's not my focus, he says. Not your focus? You're coaching an NFL team, not running a yoga retreat. The man talks like he's trying to manifest wins through denial, while Gabriel's out there giving masterclasses on what not to do at quarterback. Turnovers, fumbles, safeties. It's a blooper reel that makes even the editors cry. Cleveland doesn't need motivation. They need management. And Canty just said what everyone's been too scared to admit. Every Browns practice looks like a drill gone rogue, one snap away from total disaster. One drive looks like a half-decent training session. The next looks like someone accidentally hit random play on Madden and just let chaos take the wheel. If confusion were a stat, Gabriel would be leading the league by miles. Canty saw that circus and lost it. He basically said what everyone's been thinking, that Kevin Stefanski's coaching like a man who doesn't even want the job anymore. And honestly, it makes sense because coaching the Browns must feel like babysitting a blender, loud, unpredictable, and guaranteed to make a mess every single time. You can see it in Stefanski's face. His body language practically screams, "Please, somebody trade me to sanity." But instead of facing the music, he keeps doubling down on the worst calls imaginable. Shedeur Sanders came into this league ready to grind, ready to prove he's more than just a famous last name. And what does he get in return? A front row seat to confusion and incompetence. The man deserves reps, not excuses. Canty wasn't sugarcoating a thing. He dragged that entire organization across national television and didn't hold back. He said exactly what the fans have been yelling for weeks. If you're scared to let the kid play, maybe you shouldn't be coaching. That's not just criticism, that's a career wake-up call. Because when your quarterback room looks like a group project where everyone failed the assignment, it's time to question who's in charge. And the wildest part, Cleveland's still out here pretending everything's fine.
Kevin Stefanski put this narrative out there during training camp and practice that they want to bring all the rookies along. They want to bring everybody along. They want to groom everybody. They want to keep everybody up to speed. A lot of people have noted everything that Kevin Stefanski has said dealing with Shedeur Sanders involving this quarterback situation in Cleveland. A lot of people have put their notes down. They listen to everything that Kevin Stefanski says, because now some of the things that Kevin Stefanski had said, now he's being caught up in his own.
They're juggling quarterbacks like it's a clearance sale, trading one, cutting another, promoting Shedeur, then acting like he vanished into thin air. The whole thing's a mess wrapped in denial, and somehow they're calling it strategy. What a joke! It's like a full-blown clown car of quarterbacks out in Cleveland. Every week that door swings open, and you got no clue who's stepping out next. If confusion were a legitimate coaching strategy, Kevin Stefanski would be undefeated by now. Forget playbooks and game plans. This team's competing for ego points, not touchdowns. It's not about winning on the field anymore. It's about who wins the office politics Super Bowl. And spoiler alert, nobody's winning. Picture the setup. It's pure chaos. The head coach refuses to play the GM's pick, clinging to his own favorite like a stubborn dad who refuses to ask for directions. Every single loss turns into another "I told you so" moment, just waiting to explode. Meanwhile, the locker room split right down the middle. The fan base is losing faith faster than a busted Wi-Fi signal.
I'll say it for you. I'll say it for you. Either these are made up injuries, or somebody don't want him to play, or he doesn't want to play. I don't know.
So Shedeur is back on the field today for the Browns, and now the story is, does he want to play? How does he have these mysterious injuries and he's not getting any reps or taking any hits? So if it sounds weird, guys, it probably is. In college, his sack rate was 8.64%. That means that out of 100 throws, he got sacked almost.
And there's Canty, standing center stage on ESPN, turning Cleveland's dysfunction into must-watch entertainment. When Canty said, "This organization isn't even on the same page," that wasn't shade, that was a full-blown public service announcement, because how can you win games when the front office and the coaching staff are locked in a power struggle over who gets to drive? It's like trying to cruise down the highway with two people yanking the steering wheel in opposite directions. You're not steering, you're crashing. And that's exactly what's happening in Cleveland. Now let's talk about Gabriel, because his stats look like a horror movie written in spreadsheet form. His QBR is lower than the winter temperatures in Ohio. His accuracy couldn't hit a billboard from 5 feet away, and his turnovers, they're so consistent they should count as assists for the other team. Every Sunday, defenses line up grinning because Gabriel's out there turning ordinary players into highlight heroes. Fans are watching through their fingers like it's a scary movie, just praying the next throw doesn't end up in the wrong jersey's hands.
If Shedeur Sanders is not promoted to QB2.
Why is that?
Because then all of a sudden you start to ask all of these questions as to why. There are only 2 quarterbacks on the active roster right now. So if you don't promote him to QB2, that being Shedeur Sanders, and you decide to elevate Bailey Zappi off the practice squad, who you didn't think enough of to have on your active roster weeks ago, it makes it seem as if you have an agenda other than allowing the quarterback competition to be a meritocracy.
And then there's Shedeur Sanders, the kid sitting on ice. No snaps, no chances, and no clear answers. He's stuck in quarterback purgatory while the Browns keep pretending this chaos is part of the plan. If this is the plan, somebody needs to rewrite it fast. It's like the coaching staff's got Shedeur locked away in some break-in-case of miracle box, just sitting there collecting dust while the offense burns down around him. Every time Cleveland's offense falls apart, the cameras pan straight to Shedeur like, "You seeing this?" And there he is, calm and collected, giving that professional nod while silently wondering what level of football purgatory he just signed up for. The frustration's written all over his face, but instead of exploding, he channels it into pure focus, waiting for that one chance that never comes. Meanwhile, Stefanski's pride is running the whole show. He's so afraid of being proven wrong, he'd rather torch an entire season than admit the obvious. That's the kind of pride that turns good coaches into late-night comedy material. And that's exactly what Cleveland's become. A walking, talking punchline in helmets. Other teams have playbooks and strategy. The Browns have drama and mystery.
18,000 yards. I don't remember him sitting out for any injury for a long period of time when it comes to his college career. So how do you get to the league and all of a sudden your back hurts, your throwing arm hurts, everything just starts to break down? That's what you want us to believe. So if it sounds weird, it probably is. We all see what is happening in Colorado right now for the Buffs. You believe that jersey retirement stuff now? How do you get hit, pressured, and sacked more than any college quarterback in your draft class and then magically get to the league and then become brittle? No, pick a new story, pick a new subject, or just wait until he touches the...
Every other coach in the league has a vision. Stefanski's got caffeine, confusion, and a notebook full of "let's try that again." He's treating quarterback decisions like he's guessing a forgotten password. Let's try Gabriel again. Maybe this time it'll work. Spoiler alert, it never does. It's the same chaos on repeat, and somehow he acts like it's all part of the plan. Canty made sure the entire world saw through it. He called it exactly what it is: nonsensical, clunky, embarrassing, the holy trinity of dysfunction. And when he was done, even the studio lights looked dimmer, like they were exhausted too. Nobody dared follow that rant because once someone burns the whole house down on live TV, there's nothing left but ashes and truth. Meanwhile, Browns fans were at home nodding like, finally, somebody said it. Because this isn't breaking news. This is Cleveland's brand, a never-ending cycle of hype, heartbreak, and head-scratching decisions that would get most franchises shut down. Chris didn't sugarcoat a thing. He didn't do the polite TV talk. He went raw and real. You could practically hear fans printing his face on t-shirts with the slogan, "He said what we're all thinking." Finally.
Browns again. Head coach Kevin Stefanski in the news as he announced he is giving up play calling to offensive coordinator Tommy Rees.
Hallelujah.
Now the second straight season in which Stefanski has given it up. And fellas, before I even get to the question of this, how in the world do you as a head coach of a football team call plays one year? I was unaware that this is what happened. He called plays one year, wasn't good enough to continue doing it. You have someone else call the plays, and then you're like, you know what? The next year, I'm going to hire a new OC, and I'm going to still call them joints. What are we doing? What happened?
Someone gets it. Chris Canty said what the whole football world's been screaming for months. The fix is so simple, it's painful. Start Shedeur. Give the kid a shot. Let him sink or swim. Anything's better than watching this team drown in denial week after week. But instead, Stefanski's out here acting like putting Shedeur in the game might summon some ancient football curse. Newsflash, the only curse in Cleveland right now is Stefanski's play calling. Every Sunday feels like deja vu, hope, confusion, meltdown. Repeat. Canty even hinted that Stefanski might already be mentally checked out.
He is now saying, over my dead body will Shedeur get a shot. This is all-time shameful on the part of Kevin Stefanski. He won't even speak Shedeur's name in these interview sessions. There's just a principle involved here where at least you acknowledge that by default, Flacco is now gone. Shedeur moved up a slot. He's second on the depth chart. This was Kevin Stefanski pretty much declaring public war on Shedeur. I guarantee you Bailey Zappi is now, and they're not putting it up on the website. I guarantee he'll dress at Pittsburgh and he will be second in command.
Just riding the clock, waiting to cash that final paycheck before disappearing back into coordinator life. And honestly, can you blame him? Coaching the Browns is like trying to build IKEA furniture with half the screws missing. Frustrating, never-ending, and guaranteed to end with shouting. But if you're gonna stick around, at least build something. Don't just stare at the box and call it leadership. And let's not forget GM Andrew Berry. He's probably sitting somewhere in that same building, watching this circus unfold and wondering if he accidentally signed up for a hidden camera show. You draft Shedeur Sanders. You sell the dream of a bright new era, and then your head coach treats the kid like a ghost story. Canty tore into that nonsense with precision. He exposed the politics, the poor planning, and every weak excuse hiding under Cleveland's logo. This wasn't just a rant. It was a full-on performance piece called How Not to Run a Football Team. Every word hit like a punchline wrapped in truth. And by the time he was done, you could feel the whole league nodding along. If the Browns ever want to make a documentary, ESPN doesn't even need new footage. They can just replay that segment on loop and call it The Breakdown in Brown and Orange. But let's be real, this isn't just a Cleveland issue. Every league's got that one team addicted to self-inflicted drama. The difference? The Browns do it with style, with flair, and somehow with a straight face. Watching Canty flip that metaphorical table wasn't just satisfying. It was justice served live on national TV. After years of awkward pressers and painful excuses, this moment felt different. Loud, raw, and absolutely necessary. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about one quarterback or one bad Sunday, it's about accountability.
It's still the same coach that 2 years ago, everybody think he sucked 2 years ago when Flacco threw for 2,000 yards when he had a receiver and a tight end who could catch the ball?
No.
So I'll go
he was
back.
Coach of the year.
And again, I'm not trying to defend Kevin. I've said all year long, you want to fire him, I'm not going to fight you. Like, there's enough evidence there. You want to fire him, fire him. I just think it runs so much deeper throughout this organization. Firing the head coach is putting a Band-Aid on a head.
That's not going to fix it.
It ain't going to fix anything.
No,
but you want to fire him, fire him.
Not firing is not going to fix it either.
But Here's the
no,
thing.
it's not. But Bull, to Jay's point, like, we're rotten higher than.
It's about a coach finally owning up to his choices instead of hiding behind those vague, recycled phrases that don't mean anything. It's about giving young talent a chance to shine instead of letting it rust away on the bench like forgotten potential. Canty made sure that message hit everyone. He didn't whisper it. He broadcast it straight into the league's bloodstream. You could see the reaction instantly. Fans lighting up social media, trending Shedeur's name like it was a battle cry, analysts jumped in with their own takes, and even former players started hinting that maybe, just maybe, Cleveland's biggest enemy isn't their opponents, it's themselves. All it took was one perfectly aimed rant to shake the entire city awake. That was every ex-player's voice rolled into one. Every man who's seen talent wasted under bad leadership shouting, "Enough is enough." It wasn't hate, it was tough love, ESPN style, and it hit harder than any tackle Canty ever delivered on the field. So where does Cleveland go from here? It's simple. They either wake up, hand the ball to Shedeur Sanders, and finally give the fans something real to cheer for, or they keep playing pretend until even the scoreboard starts laughing at them. Because at this point, Stefanski doesn't have a focus problem. He's got a reality problem.
This does look better. What does it say about Kevin and all that kind of stuff?
So if we make this switch now again for the second year in a row, and this time it's different, and Tommy Rees takes over play calling, and all of a sudden the offense, I'm talking like noticeably different. Like it feels like we're watching a different team than we watched the first half of the season. For me, that would be kind of an indictment on Kevin that one guy can step in here and make that big of a difference to the offense, that you are the one that, like, you're the offensive guy. This is your system. This is your program. You brought it in here. You're supposed to be the offensive head coach, which, by the way, how do you feel about him having to give it up 2 years in a row? Because I can't think of another offensive head coach who's had to give up play call.
And if this spiral keeps going, he'll have plenty of time to meditate on it, at home. And Shedeur, that kid deserves better. Better than the politics, better than the excuses, and definitely better than watching incompetence steal his reps. He's got the talent, the poise, and the hunger. He's just waiting for a coach who actually believes that greatness belongs on the field, not buried on the sidelines. Canty saw that before anyone else did. He aimed the spotlight right where it needed to go, not at a rookie learning the ropes, but at a coach tripping over them. And in doing so, Canty didn't just call out a bad decision, he changed the whole conversation in Cleveland, because once the world starts laughing at your dysfunction, you only get two choices: fix it or become the punchline forever. And let's be real, the Browns have been the punchline for far too long. Maybe this time, someone finally takes that joke personally. So what do you think? Does Cleveland finally wake up and give Shedeur the spotlight he's earned? Or will they keep spinning in circles while the world watches? Either way, hit that like, subscribe, and share if you're ready for more truth bombs like this, and I'll see you on the next one.